Live. Oh,
now we are.
Here we are. Hello.
Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? So
This is exciting.
it's another episode of Monday Night Live. It's not on Monday.
Or night. But it's live.
I've got to work out what to call this show now because I'm not doing them on Mondays necessarily all the time now. So, yeah, just
Something more
LinkedIn Live or something.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's get us a little bit closer to us.
That's got a ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast. Make your year the best yet. Some of you who've been in my audience for a while will recognise the lady sitting next to me, Kate Trevillian, one of the best life coaches in Perth. Welcome, Brendan.
Hello.
Drop it in the comments and let me know.
Brandon.
There's 2 steps. Drop in the comments. Step 1, say hello for a couple of reasons. 1, so we know that you're breathing, and 2, because just because we're virtual doesn't mean you lose your manners.
Not at all. And we want to say hi back to you as well.
Drop in the comments. We're live, so we can make this interactive, and let us know which city you're tuning in from.
Where are you, Brandon? Out of curiosity.
Shall we recap? Say hello, and
Sure.
What was the second step? What city are you in?
Yes.
Okay, Kate. So, Kate's been coaching for how many years now?
Since 2012, I started the journey.
So you started coaching in 2012.
Yes, most probably pretty badly though, because I was very much in the learner phase of the coaching journey, but I did start in 2012.
And how long have you been doing personal development? Because you've done heaps of it.
Oh, I grew up with a father and mother who put really good books in front of me as a teenager, and to be honest, I didn't really want to read them, but my dad insisted that I did, and that really set me up on a journey of exploration and wanting to learn about myself and other people and to be my best, the best version of me.
There is, I don't know, let me know in the comments if you agree with this, like in the chat, but it's a bit like salespeople. Life coaches is a bit of a stigma, right?
Oh, totally.
And it's one of these things that comes with an industry that's relatively immature, where you don't necessarily need qualifications to call yourself one. And you know, like maybe it's probably unfortunate, like for the industry that they get labelled as that. And it's sometimes not easy to pick which ones know what they're doing, from the ones that are literally just trying to. What's that word that begins with M? It rhymes with stipulate.
Manipulate?
Manipulate, yeah. And so when I met Kate at a Tony Robbins event, I actually volunteer at Tony Robbins events after going through his programs. Kate's done a similar thing. Got so much out of it, changed my life in many different areas. It also gave me a lot of tools to be able to deal with things that come up in life. We're all human, we all go through challenges, but it is helpful to have those kind of resources to be able to get different perspectives on things. And I was in charge of running the microphone. So
yes.
When Tony walks down the aisle and he says, "You in the red hat!" The microphone has to be there in 3 seconds or less. And my 6'1" body with a little bit of this was going through the audience. And if you've ever gone to Tony Robbins event in Australia, you may have recognised me. And I think
the US, we've got lots of US peeps with us.
Yeah, they're dropping in the Look at these guys.
Yeah.
They're pretty active dudes here.
And good old Daniel's in Perth.
Hey guys.
Hey Daniel.
Patrick, Mike, how's it going, dudes? More comment? Who else we got on there? I know there's some people out there that are hiding behind their keyboards. How's it going? Anyway, so I was day 2 or 3 of the event, day 4 of the event, was halfway through the event sometime, and the leader of all the crew comes up to me and she goes, "Oh, I've got, can you look after Kate for a day? She's going to come onto the mic team." And I know Kate's one of the leaders and more experienced than I have, and I said, "Sure." And anyway, by the end of the day I thought, geez, this woman seems to be extremely happy. And so I asked her what she did, and we became friends. And I think that must have been it seems like 7 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, I reckon it was 2015.
Yeah, okay. And being a friend of Kate, I often ask her at the end of our friendly conversations for an invoice. But I've recommended Kate to loads of family, friends, clients, and often say that she's the best life coach, at least in Perth, definitely one of the best in Australia. I think that has, well, it's two things. One is she's got the training and an expertise to back it up. Like she's trained in NLP.
Yeah.
You've done the coaching degree.
Yeah, behavioural profiling.
You're a Tony Robbins leader.
Yes. Yeah.
And
continual growth.
Yeah.
Continually learning, lifelong learning is very much a part of my value set.
She's one of those ladies that you can sit down with and throw a topic at, and she can lend you 3 books on it, you know?
It's actually true.
And so the statistic was that we shared. What was it? Was it higher than 78%? It was, wasn't it? 80-something% of people who set New Year's resolutions at the start of the year.
Yes.
By the end of January,
Yes.
have already given up. If they wanted to quit smoking, they've already had a cigarette. If they
Yes.
wanted to go to the gym every week, you know, they've stopped.
The University of Scarton in the US did a study on New Year's resolutions, and what they were looking for was who set them, who started them, who kept going with them. But the stat they were most looking for was who ultimately achieved that New Year's resolution in its entirety, and it was a whopping 8%.
8%.
8%.
Wow.
So it's a poor strategy for achieving success. If you are someone who finds that you get to the end of every year and sit down with a pad and go, right, what are my New Year's resolutions? Odds are stacked against you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you're doing is setting a goal, whether it's a New Year's or not, and it's a great first step. But there's a big gap, isn't there, between setting goals and executing on them.
Yes.
And what I want to talk about today, among other things, by the way, guys, drop your questions in the comments. This is a chance to turn your business around, to get your ex back, to reconnect with your kid, whatever you're challenging with at the moment. You can ask Kate about it, and she'll give you some insights. And I've lost my place.
I'm just going to push those because I can't see all the comments.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So I was sitting in a room with a lot of microphones flying around. Life coaches used to be parents, so they developed a need for more time and multiple jobs in their house. And now you're running the microphone in a red hat. Well, yeah, is that true?
Life coaches used to be parents and they developed a need for more time.
Kate's not a parent, is she?
No, I'm not a parent. Patrick, can you explain that further? What do you mean?
Running the microphone, and now you're running the microphone in a red.
My parents weren't life coaches, if that's what you think. They.
I know what she's been. I am running a microphone in a red hat, but I'm not a parent either.
Yeah, give us some more info.
Well,
There's Mike. Hey, Mike. This
Oh!
is so exciting.
Mike in Brisbane's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Mike. Yeah.
Beautiful. So we're here to talk about making 2022 an amazing year, your best year yet.
Yeah.
And the first thing I guess I want to say is there's many different ways to make it a great year, and I'm a lover of simplicity. I think things that are simple and easy to do are more sustainable and more ecological. Often what happens is we sit down to write goals, we write multiple goals across multiple areas, and by the time we've even finished the process, we've gotten ourselves sometimes into a state of overwhelm of like, oh my God, I've got so much to achieve in the next period. So what I want to focus on today really is about getting really honest about what is the one area in your life that is causing you the most pain or suffering, because I can guarantee that one area is contaminating lots of other areas. So for example, say it's your business and you're really struggling within your business and you're not putting the time and energy required to make that more abundant. I would suggest, and I may be wrong, feel free to correct me, that would be impacting your relationships, because you would be coming home with a certain level of stress. It may be impacting your health. So by fixing that one area or focusing on just that one area for the moment, you've got more focused attention for a start, but secondly, there's going to be a flow-on effect.
Now, I just want to say, for those of you that all are business owners and working hard, it may be the other way around, and you may need to focus on your relationships.
Yes.
and take some time off, and that'll help your business, you know.
So true. Yes, that is such a good point. Or your health. You work incredibly hard and you have huge success in your business, but if you got really honest with yourself, you would recognise that your health and vitality is waning, and therefore
is this directed at me? I feel like this is directed at me. I'm like, this is exactly.
No, it's not. It's directed at anyone who, I mean, whatever resonates. Take from this conversation what lands for you and leave what doesn't. Is also a big philosophy of mine.
Yeah. So so when we set goals, we're told to make them specific, and I guess, I mean, you're making something that's in your imagination real, like an intention, and so that can be helpful. I'm very ambitious, so what I do sometimes, and it can work in my favour. I don't find it works in my favour in the long term. Like if I set myself like a massive goal and it's very specific, I find that can be a bit overwhelming. In the short term, I find that quite helpful. But I think what the biggest thing for me has been, and like with my health is a perfect example. Like there's literally something that I have consistently been failing at for a long time, right? But like you set the big goal, and the big goal is to get fit and go to the gym this many times and run a marathon, right?
You're banging.
I'm banging. Sorry, I'm excited. It can be quite overwhelming when, you know, literally just spending 15 minutes in the gym is like, geez, this is really, really hard. So talk to us about setting that goal, whether it be for a year or in intention to work on an area, and then how do you break it down into something that, you know, is not going to be too overwhelming when you wake up in the morning?
So my first book recommendation for the day, as Bibb said, I'm always recommending books, is an amazing book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. And just read it. If you want assistance setting up good habits, this is a phenomenal book. What he talks about is it's the tiny daily actions that then set up your life, which for many of you, I'm sure that today's conversation is going to be a great refresher, but maybe not something completely new for you. So my analogy of that is, think of the human body. If one cell in the human body is healthy, if the cells are healthy on that tiny, tiny micro level, then the organism has to be healthy. So when you think of habits, your goal is the overall thing. So what are the tiny individual cell-like habits that you have that support the achievement of your goal? And the example that you're talking about, Bibbs, with the gym, maybe getting up, getting your clothes on, getting in the car, going to the gym for 15 minutes of exercise is a bit of a pain in the bum. So why don't you just do 15 minutes at home? How do you make it incredibly simple for yourself to do 15 minutes of movement? And then the more and more you compound those tiny daily habits, the more it becomes your identity. And then once it's your identity, now we're completely aligned with the achievement of the goal, because you are someone who is healthy, or I am someone who spends time on my relationships, or I am someone who markets every single week, even when I'm busy and don't want to.
I've read Atomic Habits.
Did you like it?
You read the bit where he said the heaviest weight in the gym is the front door?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, shit's showing up is so important. Like, if you could do nothing else, but you can show up, that's probably worthwhile.
Oh, totally. Because for 90% of the people, I just totally made that statistic up, just to be full disclosure. I would suggest 90% of people, once you're in the car, it's done. Once you're in the car on the way to the gym, are you one of the 10%ers?
So my gym's on top of a bottle shop.
Okay, step one, find a new gym.
That was a joke.
I'm also big about ecology, and so having habits that are ecological, that is a beautiful example, even though it's a joke, of non-ecology. Yeah,
no, it's a good reward for afterwards, maybe. But I want to find out from you guys, what area of your life are you focusing on this year? Is it your relationships? Is it your mindset? Is it your confidence? Is it growing your business? You know, what is it? And if it is growing your business, is it how do you plan to do that? Like in terms of like, do you want to do it by working harder or working less? Because I think that's quite an important distinction to make. Because obviously, you got to make sacrifices in some of your other areas if you're going to do it by working harder. I want to hear in the comments, guys. What are you guys working on? Mike Staunton, how do you improve on perfection?
Mike has created a phenomenal life. Mike is an outstanding financial coach who is in Queensland, originally from the US, and absolutely amazing at what he does. Also a friend from the Tony Robbins world.
Yeah, there's one thing that a lot of the successful people that I've interviewed have got in common is they've done a lot of Tony Robbins events and stuff. He's kind of like the head honcho when it comes to personal development.
Yeah, or they, if not Tony Robbins, they put themselves in environments where the peer group holds a standard and we lift each other up, which I think is also a big part of making 2022 your best year yet, is do an inventory of where am I hanging out, who am I hanging out with, and are they supporting my greatest success? If in your business you're hanging out with people who are really successful, I imagine that, a rising tide lifts all boats, and so up you go with them. If you're hanging out with people who smoke and drink a lot, then most probably that's the pathway you're going to go as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done, but you're right, 100% right. There's been a couple of times in my life where I've managed to put myself in an environment that has sort of dragged me up. A couple of decisions I've made, like doing like a Facebook cull, create space for more people. Starting my first interview series really changed my peer group. That was a huge one. But one thing that we can all do is control, the content that we consume. Because if you look through your newsfeed on whatever channel it is, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you're either there are either people there that you're comparing yourself to, or they're people that aren't where you want to go, then they could have the same impact. Whereas if you cultivate your newsfeed so that it's basically people that have achieved what you want to achieve, then content and social media is going to be a huge asset for you to be able to achieve your goals. And then it's not just people, though, is it? Like, it's your environment as well. So let's just, so we got the big area, the big goal that we want to focus on, right? And then we're talking about setting up your environment, and that's people and places for success, making it convenient, making it attractive, and making it easy.
Yeah, two words, absolutely. They're all phenomenal words: ecological and sustainable. Yes, you can do it for a week or a month, but if this is something that you want to carry on with forever, is it really sustainable?
Well, so this is interesting. You've got to make it enjoyable somehow. Totally. If it's something you don't like to do.
Yes, so the way we do that is we link pleasure to it. So what's the reward? And how do you magnify that reward so that there is more motivation to take action? So everything that drives us is reward driven. We want to know what's dangling at the end that we're gonna get. Yes, Patrick, write it down. Absolutely. And Bob Proctor, I've only spent a lot of time around Tony Robbins. I completely appreciate his role in...
Is that the guy, the bald guy, or not?
No.
Okay.
And I had a mental blank too. Who was Tony's mentor? I'm sure someone out who he spent all that time with is the 18, 19, 20-year-old who is like the father of... Anyway, if someone...
We know who you mean. Yeah.
Him. Yes. Someone help me out here. You know who I mean.
Yeah, okay. So let's say you're working with a client that this is this guy that I happen to know that
my friend
that doesn't enjoy fitness and stuff like that, and can get to the gym because on top of a bottle shop. This guy I know, and what would you suggest to do to make it more fun and more attractive?
Well, is the gym fun?
I mean, it can be. Yeah, it can be.
What form of movement is fun for you?
Walking.
Yeah. What else?
Skateboarding.
Nice. What else?
movement. I really like walking. Like, I'm not joking. I really like walking.
I know that you're an avid walker.
Like, I love it when I have a meeting that I can walk to, you know?
Yeah.
I really enjoy, for some reason, just the, the beat of it. It's like a meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you committed to walking every day, even if it was to the coffee shop to get coffee, if you made it further enough away, and you've now linked something to it,
Yep.
that, I mean, there's reward in the coffee, maybe, or in whatever it is that you find rewarding.
Yeah.
That it's 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back.
Okay, so I do walk. Like, I'm not a cat. I don't do nothing, but
Okay.
like, that's about it.
So you want to do something with more intensity.
I want to do weights and probably. Do you know what I want to do? I want to do F45. Yeah.
My job is so easy. That's what you okay.
And then
What's
what?
preventing you from doing
And then so next
F45?
week it's like, how was F45, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, didn't
and I
make
will
it.
ring you up, and then I will have a conversation with you about how come, what prevented you.
Yeah.
So who do you feel the greatest sense of accountability to in your life?
These guys.
Okay.
Oh shit! I see what's happened here.
So if you can't see, he's now beating up with sweat.
Okay, all right. So, what's the next?
So, what's a realistic amount of times that you could go to F45 between now and next Thursday when you do your next live with these people? These lovely people. Jim Ron, thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Well, realistically, I could go once.
Okay, perfect. So, could you have signed up to an F45 by the end of tomorrow?
I could do it by the end of the podcast.
Perfect. Okay, beautiful. End of
That
the podcast.
part I can do.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the thing that scares me with F45 is getting started. Because the first few sessions, and I'm banging again, like for emphasis, you walk out like you're just stumbling around. It's very hard to go through two in a row if you haven't been before.
Yeah. I know people who do F45 and 2 in a row may actually create too much pain. So now that you've linked a lot of pain to this new habit, so now the new habit becomes highly unattractive. So then you're not going to go again.
Yeah.
So what would be a reasonable lead-in? Like once a week this week, twice a week next week,
Yeah.
3 times a week, week 3,
Yeah.
3 times a week, week 4, and by the end of the month, you've now been 9 times.
Yep.
Does that feel reasonable to you? Does that sound reasonable to you?
Yep.
So which F45
So
gym is near you?
I'll post on LinkedIn, and I'll say I'm going to be going to one F45 a week and one more every week until I get to 4 a week.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And you guys are keeping him accountable alongside me.
Or I'll post a
Accountability
selfie.
too is such a huge part of achieving our goals. If you are not someone who's internally motivated. So one of the meta programs that we have, an unconscious program that runs in our mind, is where our motivation comes from. Some people are externally motivated and some people are internally motivated. And as a generalization, people often are externally motivated, not always. In this area, because you are incredibly internally motivated when you want something, you're not waiting on anyone, you just go for it. Something, though, that I've identified with you is if it's something that you don't really, like you want it, but you don't, that drive is missing, that linking it to someone outside of yourself, all of a sudden makes it, you're not going to let them down. So you show up.
Yeah, that's interesting. When was it? Ed Milet? Who knows Ed Milet? Do you know Ed Milet?
No.
Ed Milet's a graduate of Tony Robbins, motivational coach, and he had a couple of health concerns, and his doctor sat him down. Must have been an incredibly smart doctor, and he said, "How old's your daughter?" And he said, "Oh, like I don't know, 4 or 5 or something. I can't remember." And he goes, "Do you want to go to a wedding?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, well, if you want to go to a wedding, if you do these things exactly like I tell you, you'll be able to go." He goes, "But if you don't do these things, you won't be there." And you know, goes to he works out every day. twice a day. But that's what he said. He said, wakes up in the morning, he's like, I don't want to go to the gym. And then he just thinks about his daughter's wedding and he goes,
yeah, gotta go. And so this is a distinction between pain and pleasure. So the doctors leverage some pain of you're going to miss out on your daughter's wedding to create motivation for him.
So the doctor obviously understood this. Yeah.
The doctor understands that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, parents understand it. How often do you see parents do it with children? If you don't do the thing, you're not going to get the other thing. I mean, that's linking pain
You're
to
going to die.
dramatic. But that's linking pain to not taking action, which has pros and cons. I'm not suggesting that as a parenting strategy. Mike, you've asked, what do you say to someone that is unclear on which area or what goals they want to complete this year? Chunk it right down to what do you think if you had a little bit more of? One thing if you had a little bit more of, that it would elevate your life in some form, elevate your health or your relationships or how you feel about life. And then from that thing, ask them what else and what else. So,
and it could be. I'm just thinking aloud here, so you can elaborate on this because I'm not the expert of this area, but it could be like, it could just be a goal to contribute something. If you feel like you've ticked a lot of your boxes in your own life, maybe set a goal to raise some amount of money for homeless or children without parents, or I don't know, whatever you feel strongly about the environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so true. Giving beyond yourself. Do you know the other thing about that question too, Mike, is asking them, when was the last time you felt truly happy, like really happy at your core, and what were you doing, and get them to connect to that period and to describe that and to contrast what was there and what is not there now.
And when you do that, do you do that like, sort of meditation, like when you're working with a client, do you get them to fully embody it and imagine it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You want them to feel the feelings of that. Close their eyes, see it in their mind's eye, hear what they were hearing.
Yeah.
The unconscious mind is incredibly powerful. If we paint a clear enough picture, we associate volume and sound to it, and we feel the feeling of whatever that is, then our unconscious mind accepts it or goes looking for it in memory banks. So
sounds like that state, right? The state is a good place to set goals from.
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to be sitting there going, oh my God, life's crap. Everything sucks. What am I going to do with my life? You are not.
It's really important, isn't it?
It
sounds really important.
Yeah. And it sounds like really silly too well, who would do that? However, often when we are in that massive amount of pain, we go, right, something's got to change, but we haven't changed our physical state to come from a more energetic, high vibrational frequency place to then really be creative and inspired in what we decide that we want to do.
Absolutely.
Which may be a reason that someone or you or other people don't achieve the things that they say they are going to achieve.
Yeah. You made me think about the Amy Cuddy TED Talk and the Harvard study that she did about how your physiology can change how you make decisions and stuff like that.
Power pose.
And so I've always used that in business challenges, and I got quite comfortable doing that in business. And so what that looks like is all this stuff's happening, it's overwhelming, the problem's so big, I bounce it off someone, they go, oh shit, you're in trouble. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the thing. And I stand up, and I stand like Superman, right? Look out the window like this, and I'm like, and then from that place, with my chest out, very important, but chest out, I make a decision that like would otherwise be a little bit scary, but because you're feeling strong and...
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So when you stand in this position for more than 2 minutes, chemically things start to happen in your body, which supports you feeling more focused, clear, powerful, strong. And when you think of the animal kingdom, look at what animals do when they are in a place of fear. They often puff up or put their tails up or get bigger. And that was a part of Amy Cuddy's study, I think, where it started way back in the beginning, was watching what nature does and then morphing that into humans. And in the mid-teens, like 15, 16, 17, she got some slack and criticism about that, saying it's not true. And then that was all dispelled, and it actually came back around to, she was on the money with her study.
Yeah. And do you think that that might be why I enjoy walking so much? Because I do very much feel like that when I'm walking.
Yeah, totally. And what a great way to reaffirm it. I swim, and I call it black line therapy, and I say...
Black could be misinterpreted if you didn't say the first bit. I don't know what I was meant there, but
I don't know what he meant.
I thought there was a joke there somewhere.
Right along. I say the Ho'oponopono for like my first kilometre, and then I reaffirm other things. And
so, what was it? Explain that. What did you say?
The Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian forgiveness.
Mantra. Well, not everyone knows what that is. Yeah,
I love you, thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. Or in another order. I mix it up. I'm sorry, thank you, I love you.
And you do that while you're swimming?
Yeah, over and over again. And the story of the Ho'oponopono, there was a psychologist who worked in a criminal mental institution in Hawaii. I've forgotten his name, Doctor. You guys are amazing. I'm sure one of you can throw it out for me.
So he's worked in a criminal what, sorry?
Like a locked psychiatric ward full of people who had done pretty bad things. And when he entered the institution, he would sit with their files and do the Ho'oponopono over the files.
So he's looking at these criminals' rap sheets, for lack of a better word, not in front of them.
Not in front of them.
Saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you, while looking at these pieces of paper. Okay.
Yes, and for some of you, I get that this is going to be really woo-woo. Completely glaze over it if you're not interested. So he did this for 3 years and didn't spend any time with the patients. And the change in the people inside, people started to be released. The whole energetic frequency of the place changed, and ultimately it ended up being closed down, I think 6 years later. And so there's a whole book on it. It's an amazing mantra that I use a lot in my life to bring me peace and to send love to other people. Or if I've got tension with somebody, I Ho'oponopono it while I swim. Because I'm also a fan, and think about this for 2022 and making it your best year yet. Where can you add tasks? Exercising to go get the coffee, swimming and doing my mantras and affirmations, and layering stuff so that you get the most value out of your time.
That's it. So that has an effect on other people that you say that to, even though that they don't know that you've said it.
Yes, is the premise of it.
And we don't know what the impact is on the individual saying it.
No, we don't. However, oh God, his name is on the very tip of my tongue.
You're welcome to hypothesise if you want. I mean...
I absolutely hypothesise that it is good for me.
Yeah. But you're saying it to yourself, so that...
Yeah, I'm saying it to myself. It's like 2 for the price of 1.
What a deal.
What a deal. We love those deals.
Yeah. So, so that's interesting. So, why do you think it's those specific words? Or phrases, I should say.
I don't know. I read the book a long time ago. And I can't remember specifically why those words. And some people...
So it's like letting go, isn't it?
Yeah, it is letting go. It's sending love. And I mean, I'm a big believer in frequency. Everything has a vibration. Some things vibrate low and slow and feel heavy. Yeah. Some things vibrate high and fast and feel good. Like when you go into nature, you may be similar to me where you go into nature and I feel so much better the minute I'm in the ocean, in the forest, in the trees, in the desert, anywhere that is of a different frequency to the city. And it's funny because I felt it coming into the city today.
Did you?
Yeah, there's just so much cement. And I think the frequency of cement is low. I feel like we might be getting way into this very existential
let's stay
place
here. Let's
now,
stay here because
so-
I like coming into the city. Like I like the energy and the people, the footsteps, and like I just like there's stuff happening. I do. And Perth's a small city, but it's enough. Like this is
Yeah, and again, everything is individual. That's why making 2022 your best year, your plan and your partner's plan or your friend's plan may look different, because one size does not ever fit all, except water and air. I think they're the only two examples.
Kate, what's the biggest challenge that your clients come to you with?
They're unhappy.
They're unhappy. Oh.
Generally, yeah, people tend not to seek out life coaches when everything...
Is this come back to their being externally motivated or what?
Well, no, it comes back to something in their life isn't working. And because that thing's not working, it's creating tension or unhappiness in other areas, and they don't quite know what to do to get out of it. And the path to solve any problem always starts with ourselves, is one of my core beliefs, so that if we improve the relationship we have with ourselves, our business improves, our relationships improve, our health improves, everything improves. The more we understand how we operate, why we do the things we do, our beliefs, what are our values. So the deeper that knowledge is, the more we are able to choose with volition what is actually right for us.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book at the moment called The Way of Integrity by Martha Beck, and it's just such a beautiful book. Songy Knox, the gorgeous Songy Knox, lent it to me. And
Shout out to Sonny.
Yeah, she is an amazing woman. Look her up as well if you...
She's Perth-based.
Perth-based, phenomenal photographer and
Marketer,
brand identity and all of those things. And really it's about the fact that as humans we enter a state of pain or suffering, the further away from ourselves we move. And the challenge is we grow up with a whole lot of cultural beliefs, of tribal beliefs that we use to work out who we are. We're told what's right and wrong. We get put into an education system. We have experiences. And people sometimes end up moving a really long way away from...
They get these expectations. Like we grow up... I just feel like we grow up, we get given all these expectations. This is what a good life looks like, and you're like, okay, you fall short of all of the ones they've listed out, and you're like, why aren't I happy? And it's like, well, you got to unlearn everything you've learned for the last 20 years.
Totally, yeah, because without awareness, we don't realise there's a choice. So awareness always precedes choice. So the first moment you're like, hang on, is this actually what I even want?
Yeah,
we trug along without challenging it. And some people challenge it as a 15-year-old or a 12-year-old, but some people challenge it as a 65-year-old. Get to the later stages of, well, not later, that's not later, but, the more mature stages of life and go, hang on, this doesn't actually really make me happy anymore.
Yeah.
Has never made me happy.
This happened with cleaning my bedroom, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like cleaning my bedroom. I tried to clean my bedroom. I tried to keep my bedroom clean. My mum would always come into my room and go, Nathaniel, clean your room. I don't know why I can't. It's very important to clean room. And I did my best. And I just learned when I lived on my own. I was like, what? I don't actually care about this. Like, I don't care if it's messy. And I wasn't unhappy because I hadn't met her expectations. I was happy because I did it. It was like... I had a messy room. Yes,
absolutely. I so get that. And think about that with university. My nieces have both just started uni, and the amount of kids who are doing stuff that they don't necessarily really want to do, but they're doing it because they think they've got to go to uni, or they think that, because mum and dad said whatever, that they should go and do that. And I remember that when I was leaving school, this societal expectation of how life should unfold.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, it's just hard. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, like, it's a hard one. It's a hard one because, like, the parents probably know something, or until like, you've just got to figure that out and be try a few different things, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying don't go to university unless you know specifically what you want to do. I would say remain open to all opportunities that pass your way, because life is incredibly synchronistic.
Yeah.
And if we have awareness and we're open, the right things come into our experience.
Yeah.
It's whether or not we are able to see them, or are we so head down, bum up.
So Mike, I reckon you gotta just try a few different things and they'll come to you.
Oh, Dr. Hulin. Thank you, LinkedIn user, for Dr. Hulin.
LinkedIn user. The name's not coming up. Oh,
Self-identity through Ho'oponopono.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Dr. Hulin.
Yeah, so the university example and stuff, like you've got to. The thing is, you're going to feel like you're failing in an area, and that'll might make you unhappy and go to see a coach. But sometimes, well, if the thing's not making you happy just because you're not failing at it, you probably should try something else. I don't know. Depends. Depends. That's probably not. Yeah, it's probably not true with relationships, but with career. Like I think, yeah, sometimes we can get so fixated and stuck on a goal, whether it's to make $1 million or to, make this particular business successful, that you kind of just get so entrenched in it that it's got to be that or nothing else. So you don't do anything else. Sometimes just let it go and try something else. Find it's a lot easier. That happened with me, because as you're talking, I'm thinking about what areas of my life I've nailed, and I think about what I do for a living, my business, and how confident I am in that area, and how confident I am. I know that I'm doing what I love and what the right, and I'm successful at it. And I thought, oh, how lucky am I to have that? And I just thought about how I got there, and I was like, Jesus. Went through a lot of shit to find out what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, things take work.
Yeah. I mean, from my experience, I spent most of my career so far, or my life so far, trying to get the approval of my parents, but in business that kind of manifested in getting the approval of my father. And so it took a lot of getting let down, even though I'd achieve these things or I wouldn't, but it was just something that was just never impossible. It was impossible at the level that I wanted until I was just like,
let it go.
Fuck this, and I've got to rely on myself here. And then, 2 years later, after, working my ass off, I'm in a career that I really enjoy, that no one else understands, and then slowly you get their respect, but it's kind of, it's nice, but it's mainly nice because you know that you don't need it anymore,
Yeah.
I like it when my dad says he's proud of me and well done and stuff, but I'm also when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy too, because that doesn't impact me as much as it used to.
Yeah, well, it's a nice addition as opposed to the focus.
But that wouldn't happen if I didn't try lots of things and feel like I was failing it along the way, for sure. So coaching maybe can, I would assume coaching should accelerate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And one of my guiding principles in coaching is there is no failure, there's only feedback. Shit's going to go wrong. Things are going to stuff up. You're going to have days where you sit on the floor and cry your heart out, and appreciating that as a part of the process, I think, is so good. If you're not willing to go to that level of uncomfortable, then you hit a ceiling of how far you will be able to go in that area.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking. That's why I know it's the right thing to do, because I'm totally okay with making 75 mistakes today and failing 75 times.
Totally.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is a good thing about coaching is just having that person in your corner going, awesome, what amazing stuff have we learnt from this? Brilliant. How are we going to turn that around to give this another go or try it a different way?
Yeah. Yep. Kate, do you specialise in coaching with any particular the profile of people, or?
No, I don't. My demographic is particularly women. I have coached men.
Is that intentional, or?
No, it's just who comes to me. But I do work with men as well. It is just mainly women. And beyond that, they're young and they're more mature. But the principle is with all of, or the guiding principle is improving the relationship with you so that you can then improve and accelerate whatever area of your life it is, whether it be business or getting clarity around your career or your relationships or family. And that is another group of people who come to me who say, I look at my life and everything's really good, but I'm not sure why I feel like this. And I promise you that's always because of the relationship they have with them.
Yeah. So it's such a good point.
Did I see the gorgeous Tracy Amos?
Robert, how are you?
Hey, Gorgie.
Welcome.
Hi, Robert. Nice to see you.
All right, Kate. So we've got another 15 minutes.
Okay. So, what we started with was this morning. I just put a really quick sheet together, which I emailed to you. Which I don't know how you can put it up there somewhere, which around making 2022 your best year yet, pick one area. What is the one area that you know is your weakest area or the area that's causing you the most suffering? And be really honest with yourself. A human tendency is to go back to something that we're actually doing quite well because it makes us feel a bit better. So take radical responsibility in this process and then ask yourself, what would happen if nothing changes for another year? We want to turn some pain up. Okay, what would happen for another 3 years? What would my life be like if in 5 years I have changed nothing in this specific area? And allow yourself to go there. And that takes courage because we do often avoid feeling the pain. Then bring it right back in. And this is all on the worksheet that if you want it, Bibs can send it out to you.
What I'll do, guys, is in the comments of the video, on everywhere, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, we're broadcasting on multiple platforms. I don't know if you guys know this, but we're all over the internet right now. So you'll see a comment, which I'll put it in there with a link to the file, or I'll just upload it to the interweb. The link will be there.
Yeah, perfect.
Voila.
Take yourself through the process. And then what I want you to do in that specific area is think about what areas it impacts in your life other than this area. So what is, say it's your intimate relationship. What is that costing your business? What is that costing your health? What is that costing your friendships and your relationships with, say, your kids? Really get clear around how it's impacting other areas. And then we want to chunk it right down into what are those actions that need to happen, and then even further, what are the habits that would support those actions? So an example, back to your gym example.
That's what I've been thinking about, yep.
Is A, get rid of the gym above the bottle shop, step one.
No, that's all right. That's okay, because I've, I'm just trying to think if there's a bottle shop next to F45. I don't think so.
Okay, that's good. And if there is, can you do me a favour?
Well, you want me to go in the mornings?
I just want you to be transparent with your F45 coach and say, hey, when I leave here, if you see me walking in next door, yell outside the door and tell me to get out of the bottle shop. Would you do that for me?
Yeah.
And I'm sure your F45 coach would gladly do that for you.
I reckon we should get these like watches or rings or something that we can give to your clients, right? And you can track where they're going, and then you can like buzz them or something.
I can sit there with my bank of computer screens and keep an eye on everyone. So no, back to Nat's example with the gym of if your health improved, let me do this process with you. If nothing changed health wise, think about
if I was just going, I'd be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, in a year's time, if nothing changes health wise, how are you going to feel?
Oh, that's not an option. No, it's just it's whether I do it now or not. Yeah.
No, go to where the pain is.
No, that's not. It has to improve.
So don't avoid the pain. Don't avoid the pain. Go to where it is in a year's time.
I see what you're saying.
3 years.
I see what you're saying.
But no, that's a beautiful example
Yeah.
for your viewers, because it's what we do. We're like, oh, that's so horrible. I'm not going to go there.
But people might not know, but in July, baby Bibi is arriving. Now, baby Bibi's going to have a lot of energy. So, I mean, when she's awake, sorry. I'm going to be needing a lot of energy for this child, and as I get older, I want to have a lot of energy for this child as well. Just priorities are changing for me. I want to have that energy to be able to spend time with the family, and it's just the first step. And the F45, the reason I like it is because all you got to do is walk in the door, and then they'll do the rest to you.
And you appreciate efficiency. It's efficient. You go in, you have a very intense workout for 45 minutes.
That's true, yeah.
Where you don't actually have to think.
That's true.
How many weights am I going to lift? What am I going to do? So,
But you're just thinking about, like, am I going to die? Or like,
yeah, breathe in.
Yeah.
So again, what I think I said at the beginning around simplicity of how do you make these habits incredibly simple? The days that you don't go to F45, do 15 minutes on your bedroom floor.
What,
Sit-ups, push-ups. No, not sleeping.
Because you're so sore, you know? Yeah.
Well, stretch.
Yeah.
Because stretching is a part of having abundant health. So is choosing good food. So is making sure you get enough sleep. So it's not just, you know, for your identity to become I am healthy. There's all of these components.
Yep.
But let's start with the first thing, because once you've been to F45 for a month, do you think you will feel more inspired to drink more water or eat better food
Absolutely.
or get more rest? And so then the knock-on effect happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Yeah. It's
Everyone,
it's
can
the
you
one
please
area.
keep him on track?
It's the one area I want to focus on next. It was on my schedule.
Yeah.
Like, health was the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this sheet, to not go through the process now, if you're really committed to
just one sheet?
Yeah, I think it's 3 pages because you've got to do some writing. It would maybe take you 20 to 30 minutes.
And how much does this
do it.
cost?
It's a gift.
It's free! Do you hear this, ladies and gentlemen? Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn.
You're such a dick. You know I'm all about adding value. No,
Yeah.
I wanted to give you guys something because...
I thought you were trying to think of a price when I was setting you up.
Oh.
Free gift from Kate Trevillian. Now, if somebody, if something you've said resonates with someone out there, if somebody's got an area in their life that they want to be held accountable in, or maybe don't know that what area of their life that they want to change and want someone to bounce it off that isn't going to judge them and call them names and tell them to be grateful for what they got anyway, then hiring a coach, you know, is something that I always sort of encourage, but you can make a big mistake with some of the coaches out there. Like when you're talking about things that are very important to you and maybe based on, you know, some bad experiences that you've had, it is quite easy for people to convince you that you should do certain things. Like, my coach said I should do this, and bang, next minute you're doing it. So it is really important to choose a coach that you feel comfortable with. And so I mean, this is business coaching, but when I found my business coach in Melbourne, I literally interviewed like 18 of them.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
I was going to say interview people, interview your coach.
Do you know what?
Because
do you know what?
the coach is working for you.
Do you know what one of the questions I asked the business coaches was?
What?
That was one of my criteria. I said, tell me about one of your best clients. And then I used one of the examples, showing off, and I said, okay, how much revenue do they bring in? And the ones that told me, I just crossed off. Because there's no respect to the privacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And the one guy that said, David Guest, he said, oh, it's confidential. You know, it's not going to protect client confidentiality. I was like, okay, you're in.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ask really good questions of the coach that you are considering working with, and that's.
But Kate, are you available?
Yes, I am available. Yes.
Are you?
Yes, I don't work with a huge group of people.
But you're normally full of, because you can only take, 15 clients?
Yeah, I only work with 15 people.
Is it 15?
Yeah, at one
Yeah,
time.
this is one of the things you will find with the best coaches and mentors is a lot of them don't even have websites. A lot of them don't need to put themselves out there because their clients stay with them a long time and they're really sought after and have waiting lists. So I was actually surprised to hear that. So how many spaces do you have available?
I would take on 2 people at the moment.
Wow. So there's an opportunity there, guys, to work with somebody that's not always available for coaching. Might be worth getting in touch with Kate. Why don't you hit her up on LinkedIn? Are you going to check your LinkedIn inbox if I say this?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and you're on Instagram as well, aren't you?
Yes, Insta, LinkedIn, FB. I'm not a huge social media user, but I am definitely present. And even if you've got any questions from today, just flick me an email. I'm more than happy to answer them for you, or, you know.
Yeah.
He's going to give me a lecture about saying that
No,
after
no,
this.
no,
But
it's so
I
good.
am also, I'm very committed to adding value for people. You don't have to sign up with me to ask a couple of questions. So
Yeah, that's very kind of you. Thank you. And you know, Kate works with clients long term, so it's not like, you know, she's not the sort of person that you just do 1 or 2 sessions with and then move on. So if she's going to talk to you, she'll be doing it out of the kindness of her heart.
just like 2 F45 sessions is not going to get you healthy.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a good start.
It's a great start. We love a good start, but we just want commitment.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. This all became about me and my lack of fitness at the moment. Thanks, guys.
Sean's offering to stay accountable with you. Go,
Yeah,
Sean.
I tried to hide that one.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. You've blown up my inbox. Are you? So hang on. You're skating on toffee myself. What does that mean?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I would say it's an ice reference, but I'm not quite sure what the acronym stands for.
I don't know what the F might say. I don't know. I'm not going to go there. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, taking time out of your day. Please let us know your feedbacks. Kate and I will check in on the comments later for those of you watching the replay. Next time, try to get here on time. No, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Just quickly, I'll answer Robert's questions. Robert's a mate. He's sorry, you can answer
Hi,
that one.
Rob. I am not a business coach. Let me be completely transparent with you. However, I work with people who have businesses of varying degrees and of quite a broad range of things. So I'm working with them on them, and then that translates into their business. So there's not a specific type of business that I work with.
Performance, growth, changing future. It's human behaviour, really.
Yeah, human behaviour. I love
Leadership.
human behaviour, why we do what we do, and how do we lead ourselves to do different things when we don't want to.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're changing lives. I mean, like if you could, you know, if you can help people change the behaviours that they don't want, you know, that they've had trouble with, then you're making a big impact. So well done. And
Thanks for having me.
I hope one of you guys takes this opportunity and works with Kate. She's phenomenal. I've recommended to all my family and friends. She's one of the best. So
You're so
get
kind.
onto it. And I'm just speaking the truth. All right, I'm blushing. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. If you're around this afternoon, I'm interviewing Jared Klein from iFly Indoor Skydiving. He's going to talk about how skydiving changed his life.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dude. Looking forward to that.
Awesome. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, Trace. So
See ya.
nice to see you.